Hello and welcome back. Yes, I know, another stove video, but this is a stove video with a difference. A few people have asked me to do a video or talk about my penny stove. I left a few messages following comments about this. Seems to be garnering some interest, so I won't make too many apologies. So as you can see, stove is very small. It's very light. In fact, it weighs virtually nothing, so ideal for very lightweight backpacking while camping. It comprises two parts of a there's a buzzard wheeling overhead in the sun. Comprises two parts of a alcohol can pushed together, and inside there is a it's actually filled with fiberglass to absorb and extend the burn time of the methylated spirits, which I use inside this as fuel. It has a screw there which screws down into the stove, so there's the fuel inlet hole, and then that screw fits back in there nice and tightly, so that it enables you to retain any mess that you haven't used at any time, which is very rare. And around the outside you can see these are the jets where the gas that is produced is pushed out and combusted. So very lightweight and very efficient. And once the stove is filled, I usually put an ounce of meths in there. It's usually enough to burn for around about 10 minutes, give or take conditions, depending on conditions rather. The stove goes over the top, sorry, the penny goes over the top of the stove once you've got your fuel in there, and you prime this stove, as I'll show you, by putting a small amount of meths around the periphery of it, lighting that combusts, heats up, heats the fuel inside this stove, gas is produced, and then it combusts, and away it goes. Really good. So I'm just going to show you that now rather than talk about it. So the first thing is to measure out an ounce of meths, which is 30 ml. That's exactly how much this little pot takes. And then try and get it inside the penny stove without spilling too much of it. As you can see, it's draining down in there nicely. So there we go, there's an ounce in there now. I'm going to put the penny over the top, and then I'm going to remove the stove rope. It's already in the fuel well of the Crusader. This is the Crusader Mark II cooker that I've recently acquired, and when burning an ounce of meths with this stove rope, interestingly my old Crusader cooker is more efficient, not by a lot, but just interesting to put that out there. So penny stove is in position. I'm now going to just add a little bit of meths to the top and a tiny bit around the periphery of the penny stove. I'm going to light the meths now that's sitting inside the Crusader and around the stove. Hopefully you can see that, maybe even hear it as it starts to burn. I'm going to put the tent pegs through these air inlet holes on the Crusader cooker. I'm not going to use the integral pot stand, because I'm going to use that to actually move the stove around should I need to. So hopefully you can see You can see now that the mess is really combusting. So that's going to heat up the mess inside the penny stove, and then you're going to see these jets fire around the rim. While that's taking shape, I'm going to put 300 millilitres or thereabouts of water into Crusader stainless cup. It burns aggressively like this when it's priming. It will settle down shortly, and I will put the cup on once that sort of settles down and it's actually working efficiently. That's still mainly the mess around the stove. I'm still waiting for those jets to fire. Which they have done now. I can see that. Don't know whether you can see that. You can see those jets are now have now primed and are now firing. Yeah, there you go, and the flame will now settle down. See that? So it's working now as it should. Sometimes you can put too much mess in around the outsides to prime it, and some other times not enough. So we'll see how quickly we can get to a rolling boil, and I'll come back to you shortly. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Well, we're 3 minutes in and it's gotten very breezy, no windshield, so that's probably not helped, but we're 3 minutes in since we put the Crusader on top of the penny stove, and we have a lovely rolling boil, which is great, and I would expect that to remain on a roll if I wanted it to for another couple of 3 minutes. So so the penny stove works, it's very efficient. It'll work in any stove. I also use it in my wild wood gas cooker, which seems to amplify its efficiency and effectiveness. It really roars in that. But I've used the temp pegs on there because it's raised the bottom of the Crusader cup, which I think helps it to be a little bit more efficient. And as you can see inside, the fuel is starting to wane now, but that penny stove fits perfectly inside the Crusader fuel well. Just slots in there lovely. So hopefully that's answered a few questions and has been of interest. Not just another stove video, but something a little bit different, which you know, with this penny stove you can use it with any number of cookers, or even sort of freestanding with a little basic stand over top of it, as long as it's protected by something if it's very breezy. So thank you for watching. Any more comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and happy wandering. Thank you very much. Bye bye.